Hello there. Today I'm going to be introducing you guys to a game by the name of Gunswords. Gunswords is a free-to-play online tactics game with an interesting theme and competitive tactics combat. The game is currently in beta, so everything you see here and everything you hear out of my mouth in this video is completely subject to change, I am sure, and I'm sure a lot of it will be changed before the game is released. So how the game works is you'll build up your team before going into any fight or anything. You'll have a team that you'll build up by buying people and items with gold that you'll earn by completing matches, as well as just by buying it with real money. The game is free to play, so it has to have some kind of business model, although we'll see if this one is fair or not. Anyway, you make a team with certain classes. I believe there's three. There's the gunner, the mage, and the fighter slash soldier type character. And then you'll equip them with armor and weapons that you'll also buy from the store, and then go and fight against someone else. The fights themselves take place on some interesting maps. They're hex-based with obstacles in the way and certain squares that will do certain things for you. Yeah, it supplies a good arena for fighting, but it also has the hexes that will heal you, and then hexes that will actually shoot lightning at enemies if you stand on them at a certain time. It'll load up that heal every certain amount of turns, and then it'll go away for a while. And then after a few turns, after a certain amount of rounds, to speed the game up, it will actually summon neutral NPCs into the game that will attack people at random. And once you manage to kill these NPCs, they actually drop buffs that will give your characters attack bonuses. So all that together adds some cool things you can do, some cool strategies you can have, and reasonable tactical gameplay. Now, they have some kind of rock, paper, scissors type thing going on with gunners beating mages and mages beating soldiers and soldiers beating gunners. Something like that. That's at least what I got out of one of the loading screens. But in general, it really depends on how you play and what you equip your characters with. You'll have 30 seconds to do your turn, which can be kind of problematic because so far, in the beta at least, I have been getting a lot of lag in most of my matches. That could just be some coincidence, that could be just something that's wrong with me, or something that's wrong with the opponents I'm facing. But so far there's a lot of lag, and hopefully that gets fixed before the game is fully released, so that it's not an issue and that doesn't make it so you have a disadvantage just because you can't get all your moves done in time for your turn to end. The way movement and combat works in the game is based on a point system. Each unit has points, and every action takes away those points. So movement will basically take one point per square you're moving, and then the attacks each have their own amount of points they will take. So you'll have to manage that properly and work with that. Sometimes you'll be able to move only one character on a turn, and other times you'll be able to move more than one, and other times you'll be able to move your whole team. I haven't actually figured out how that system actually works. There's no tutorial, and that whole thing is kind of confusing. The other thing is that movement is just kind of off, it seems. The pathing is not always great, and sometimes I'll find my characters moving when I didn't want them to, when I just wanted them to attack. That might be my bad, maybe I'm missing something. But again, no tutorial at this stage, so I can't really be sure, and I can't really be sure if I'm playing to perfection. I'm obviously not playing to perfection, but I can't be sure if I'm playing properly at all. Back to the game's business model, it could be considered a pay-to-win model, depending on how you look at it. I'm not too deeply into it, but I believe everything can be bought with in-game credit eventually if you win enough matches. Unfortunately, you won't be winning that many matches if you're facing players that are buying stuff, because buying items will give an advantage, at least in the beginning. Your default team isn't going to match up to a team that has someone that's bought a bunch of gold and spent money on buying the best weapons for 2 characters. Those 2 characters will easily decimate a whole team of characters like you are seeing in the background of this video right now. However, I believe the certain amount of limits on the teams will limit the amount the pay to win can achieve. I believe it will help up to a certain point, and then it'll be even, hopefully, if they do it right. If they make it so certain weapons are just plainly overpowered, then the balance of this game would be ruined. If they make it so everything is at least similar to a side grade, then I can see this working. They just need to make sure that after you've played a certain amount of time, you can be slightly competitive even if you don't spend money. Hopefully they get into more cosmetic stuff, because that seems to be the most user-friendly and efficient way of doing a pay-to-win game. Just more skins, more hats, whatever you need to do. Speaking of cosmetics, the game looks pretty good in general. The animation quality is nice, the visuals are quite reasonable, and then the music and the sound effects are pretty nice too. Overall, this game, which I have to mention again is currently in beta, has some fun moments, but it's missing quite a bit at this point. If the game can get together a proper tutorial and get the business model right, while improving the gameplay and improving the ease of access to the game, then this could be a good free-to-play game to look out for in the future. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you'd like to see more variety game coverage, you can subscribe to my channel and let me know what you think. I've been Maple Dungeons, and I'll see you next time.